And for my internship, I interned at L'Oréal in their Mumbai office in sales and marketing. I was working with this brand called Kérastase. They're a hair care, luxury hair care brand. Teams are 3 to 4 people here in my firm because the Dubai office is 30 people. Or the team usually consists of 1 or 2 consultants.
You've had a great 2 years in IIM Ahmedabad. Your placements and summers, were they in the same company? How does that work? I mean, most of the IIMs are similar, but IIM Ahmedabad, how is it nowadays?
Well, we don't really call them as days. We follow this cluster process where the companies they come in based on which cluster they belong to. Like for example, consulting, IB, they all come in on the first day, it's cluster one. And for my internship, I interned at L'Oreal in their Mumbai office in sales and marketing.
So you were always a marketing person, as I'm guessing now. That you went into IIM thinking you'll go into a marketing company and you came out as a marketing
Yes,
person.
yes, that was the plan, but then consulting happened. But even now, the firm that I'm working with, we mainly do pricing and GTM strategies. So that's what I told myself. Still marketing, it's not entire hardcore consulting. One another reason was because during my internship in at L'Oreal, I found it very difficult to be passionate about the product for more than 2 months. I would see my manager or the brand GM, they would be so passionate about the product or the brand that they were working for. I mean, I wasn't really able to be in love with the product. I fell out of love with it like after 3 weeks. And this is where consulting helps. You're working with a client for only like a month and a half, and then you forget about them. So it really helps people with commitment issues, you would say. So
So Simon Kucher, was it clustered with consulting or
no,
clustered with
consulting.
marketing? Did you apply to anything? Cluster one, cluster XYZ?
For my summers, I didn't really have any consulting shortlist. I only had one. But then the offer that I got, I rejected it. And then I sat for the C2, cluster two. And then the first interview I went into was another firm. I held the offer and I went to L'Oreal's interview and I picked it up. Because again, I come from a fashion background and L'Oreal seemed very, I thought it'd be glamorous.
And what was your project, your summer internship project there?
I was working with this brand called Kérastase. They're a hair care, luxury hair care brand. I had to increase or strategize ways to increase market penetration by 10 to 15%. So I would go to the market every day, talk to salon managers, hairdressers, customers, try to understand, why they were buying products or why they were not buying certain products, and then try to understand the sales data in what salon product is sold the most, or how the movement is, and then come up with strategies for that.
And that's a very empowering project that you're getting to do a lot of these things. But you didn't like L'Oreal, as you said.
I loved working there. I loved the experience, but then I wasn't like work-wise. I wasn't really able to be passionate about the product because I think to be a good marketer, you have to be passionate about what you're selling, and that passion wasn't there for me.
Marketing consulting क्या होती है? I have some idea. I've worked in consulting, but not in a focused marketing consulting.
Let's say this huge resort or amusement park is going to open up in Dubai. How will you price the tickets? Like you would have to do like a market survey for that and then try to find out, how much is consumers willing to pay for these tickets. And most of these cases you have a resort and then you have an amusement park. And then you would want to create these bundles between the resort and the amusement park. And how do you like figure out what is the optimal price level for this? So this is where we come in. We help these companies price their products. This is one. Sometimes even with GTMs, go to market strategies. How do you enter the market?
Like I remember my first job for the first 2 years, I was just making PowerPoint. I wasn't even allowed to choose the content on the PowerPoint, and I wasn't when I did well that time. Like that was the reality of it. So what does it look like? How big are teams? What does your day look like?
Teams are 3 to 4 people here in my firm because the firm itself in the Dubai office is 30 people, 35 people max. Or the team usually consists of 1 or 2 consultants, one manager, one director, and one partner. And it's usually the manager who takes care of the entire project, and the director overlooks multiple projects at the same time. And then, yes, like you said, my days are spent on PowerPoint and Excel. So the projects usually start with the kickoff, where you get aligned on your requirements, what the expectations are, and so on. And you have two steering committees or steercos, as you would call them in the consulting world. And at each of these critical junctures, you get feedback from the client, and you sort of decide if you have to like change your course of action or if you're in a good place, and then align with them and then prep for the final meeting or steering committee or steering board.
So what's next for you, Kitana? Is next for you like, well, I've just started my career. I'm just gonna put my head down and just learn a lot of consulting for the next 3 4 years. You can add so much value to your career because then you can say, look, I've done 10 pricing consulting projects. I've done 5 go-to-market projects and so on. And then is that it? Like just put your head down, or do you have plans to do more education, or you have plans to do something else?
I don't think I have plans to study more. I think I'm done with college and education for now. Consulting, I've started off my career right now, and right now it's just more about learning as much as possible. I really don't see myself stay long enough to see myself become a partner, because I don't think the lifestyle would it's not sustainable personally for me. But right now, while I'm still young, I'm okay with it. But maybe 2 3 years down the line, depending on my experiences, I will decide.